My older sister Barb is 5 years older than me, and this happened 5 years ago. Before she met her current boyfriend, she was using Tinder to meet people. I remember the night vividly. She told me and our other sister, Mary Jane, that she had a date with a guy at a bar just a few blocks away. When she arrived, she sat at the bar and sent her date a quick text to let him know where she was waiting. Less than a minute later, a man sat down beside her, offering to buy her a drink. He was much older than Barb, and according to her, he smelled awful, had terrible breath, and a crooked front tooth. She immediately declined, explaining that she was waiting for someone. The man, however, didn't seem to take the hint. Uncomfortable, Barb asked him to leave her alone. His leer was so dirty she felt like she needed a shower. Ugh. Reluctantly, the man stood up and walked away. Barb glanced around and saw that he had settled into one of the booths nearby. She quickly texted her date, letting him know what had just happened and asking him to hurry. Minutes passed, with no response. She sent another message. "Where are you?" This time he finally replied, "Running late. Grab a drink or two without me." The message felt odd. It wasn't something most guys would say when meeting someone for the first time. Before she had time to process it fully, the same man from before returned to the bar, sliding into the stool beside her once again. He asked about her date, feigning concern over why she was still sitting alone. Barb gave him a short response, but when he kept pressing, she finally told him to leave her alone. Frustrated, she pulled out her phone and sent one final message. "Sorry, I'm leaving." The moment she hit send, the man's phone, which was resting on the bar beside him, vibrated. Her stomach dropped. It all clicked in an instant. Her so-called date was this man. He had lured her there under false pretenses. Keeping her composure, Barb stood up and excused herself, claiming she needed to use the restroom. Instead, she went inside and immediately called Mary Jane, voice shaking, asking what to do. Mary Jane didn't hesitate. "Get out of there, come straight home." When Barb stepped out of the bathroom, the man was nowhere in sight. Relieved, she hurried to her car and started the short drive home. The route was simple and direct, and she arrived within minutes. But as she pulled into the driveway, she noticed a car creeping up behind her. It didn't stop directly across the street, but parked just one house over. Barb rushed inside, where Mary Jane and I were waiting. She immediately went to the window, carefully parting the blinds. "There was a car following me," she murmured. "It's out there." We both joined her at the window, but the street outside was empty. The car, if it had been there, was gone. Barb recounted everything that had happened at the bar. Mary Jane did her best to console her, though I was more focused on my anger. If that creep ever showed up again, I swore I'd make him regret it. Eventually, the tension in the house settled. We each went to our rooms. I distracted myself with a video game, trying to shake the unsettling feeling from earlier. Then, suddenly, blood-curdling screams tore through the house. I bolted out of my room just as our parents came rushing down from upstairs. The screams were coming from Barb's bedroom. A moment earlier, Barb had been lying in bed scrolling on her phone when she received a text from that same number. "Hey, I'm so sorry. I didn't see your text until I got to the bar." She didn't reply. Seconds later, another message appeared. "I'm going to meet you at your house. Which window is yours?" Barb's blood ran cold. She immediately called Mary Jane into the room, showing her the text. As they whispered about what to do, they heard it. The soft, unmistakable sound of the window sliding open. A dark figure was outside, pushing against the screen, trying to get in. That's when they screamed. By the time we reached Barb's room, the intruder had vanished into the night. Our dad ran outside, hoping to catch a glimpse of him, but the man and his car were already gone. The police were called, and Barb handed over the phone number, along with the eerie text conversation. The officers took their reports and promised to investigate. Days later, my dad got a call from the local police station asking him to come in. They had traced the number, but it was a burner account created through an app. There was no way to track the user. The lead was a dead end. Weeks passed and life returned to normal. or at least as normal as it could be after something like that. We never heard from the police again, and the man never reappeared. Still, the experience left us shaken, because no matter how much time passed, one thing still haunted us: the horrifying realization that the man had planned everything. He had tricked Barb into meeting him. He had followed her home. And worst of all, he had known exactly where she lived,